Happy Tuesday, Facebook friends! Welcome to Crayola's Facebook page. I am Lynn Lilly from Craftbox Girls, and I'm so excited to be here crafting with you. I know that we're all at home and we're looking for things to do. So today, I've got 3 crafts that are not only going to keep your kids busy while they're making them, but guess what? They're going to keep them busy long after they get done making because they're games and activities. So, let's jump in and talk about what we're making today. But before we get started, I would love to know who's watching. So tell me where you're watching from. I'll be monitoring the comments over here so I can give you a shout out. And if you've got a question, feel free to post that in the comments. We'll do our best. If we can't answer it live, we'll definitely get to it in the comments as quickly as possible. All right, so for our first craft, if you are crafting along with us, grab some Model Magic. So who has used Model Magic before? It is absolutely magic. It's such a cool, it's a moldable. I don't know about you, but as an adult, it can be like a great stress reliever to just work this in your hands. But you can mold so many really cool things out of it for kids, for adults. My husband made a whole beach scene out of it a couple weeks ago, so we've had tons of fun with it. And before we jump into making our Model Magic finger puppets, I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page, get the video up on my computer over here so I can start to see who is tuning in because I want to give you guys some shout outs. All right, so here we go. Up and working. Wonderful. All right, so if you guys are just tuning in, give me a shout out. Tell me where you're watching from. I'd love to see people watching from around the world. Okay, so we are going to make Model Magic finger puppets. Your kids can make these and then have a little puppet show afterwards for days to come. So the first one we're going to make is a bird, and we're also going to make a monster, but literally you can make anything your kids can imagine. So these are the 2 easy ones to get started. You want to roll your clay into a ball, and this ball is about 1.5 inches in diameter, and then you want to go ahead and pop your finger in the center of that ball, but you don't want to go all the way through. So this is molding it to fit on your finger. So you can go a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, depending on how big your hands or your kids' hands are, depending on who's going to wear that puppet. So just make sure that it fits around your finger. You can take your finger out and then kind of smooth it out. And we want almost like a dome shape for this first one for our little bird that we're going to make. And then if you want to make sure that it's flat, so when you're not using it, it can sit on the table, just go ahead and set it on your table and pat it down a little bit. Okay, so opening is big enough for your finger. Now, I've kind of rolled out some other pieces, but we're going to start with our wings. Now, I've got my Model Magic toolkit here where I use for all different kinds of things, from rolling out to punching out. Well, I've got this heart, and so I'm going to start with my wings. And I'm going to just use the bottom of my heart to punch out a wing shape. Now, that's going to be a little bit too big for my bird, so I'm going to fold it over just a smidge and use this kind of as the base of what I want my wing to be. So I'm folding it over, and the great part about this is if you mess up, you just scrunch it back up and you start all over again. So Model Magic really is magic. All right, so you want to build your wings. So we've got some wings, and you kind of want to make sure that they're somewhat the same shape. So I've got 2 here, and you can kind of lay them next to each other and mold them as you see fit. And then we need eyes. So what I did was I took some white, and when I want to roll little balls, all I do is I put it in the palm of my hand, and I use my index finger to just roll it into a nice little ball. And that's going to be the base, and then you press it down for your eyes. So I've got 2 more that I did right here, and I just stuck them together. You also need a beak. So we rolled out our yellow, and Model Magic comes in a whole bunch of different colors. And if you just have white, you can always color on it, or you can paint it as well. So I'm going to put my eyes on my beak right there, and you can kind of center it around, and if you don't like it, pull it back off and start again. And then I'm going to add a little eye, and if you're just tuning in, welcome. Give me a shout out in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from, and we're doing the first of 3 crafts that are not only crafts, but activities your kids can play with long after they're done. All right, so that's going to be the face of our bird. And then we've got our wings, so I'm going to lay them out kind of all before I put them on my main bird body. And then my bird needs some feathers, or I guess, what would you call that part of the bird's belly? Who knows? Brennan, do you know?
No clue.
No clue. All right, so if you guys know, tell me in the comments, that little feathery part that's usually a different color of the bird's belly. So that's what this green part is going to be. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to put that on, and I'm going to kind of mold that over the edge. And if you need to have a little more space for the face, you can always kind of poke your finger up there and give yourself a little more room. We're going to put our eyes on and our beak, just like that. And then we're going to finish it with our wings. So I'm going to put my wings right off to the side, kind of off of my little bird belly. We don't know what it's called yet. And then you can do some fun things. You can add some hair to it if you want some squiggly hair. So before I show you the rest, I'm going to do a monster really quick too. All right, and as you guys are tuning in, I'm going to give you some shout outs. We've got Tammy, hello. We've got another Lynn, who's also from Georgia. We've got April from Ontario, Canada. We've got Julie, also from Canada. We've got Marianne from New Jersey. We've got Jeancy from California. We've got Cheryl, who says so cute. And we've got Shiana, who says hello from Trinidad. That's awesome. Or for her son, Trinidad. We've got Morgan, who's from Oklahoma. All right, you guys are amazing. Keep giving me shout outs and tell me where you're watching from. All right, so we did our little bird, but we're also going to do a monster. So I did the same thing. I rolled a ball, I stuck my finger in it, and then I've got a lot of my little pieces already rolled out. So I did my eyes, which are here, they're a little hard to see on the white table, so I'll put them right there. So I'm going to put my eyes on my monster, and I'm going to give him 3 eyes. You can give him as many eyes as you want, but I'm going to give my monster 3 little eyes right across here, and I'm doing this upside down, so it might not be perfect, but monsters are a little wacky, right? And then instead of doing black eyes, I'm going to give him some fun little colors. So I just rolled out some little balls of my green and my purple. It's like that. Okay, and then a monster needs a squiggly mouth. So what I did was I took some yellow and just rolled it out. I use the palm of my hand for a lot of the kind of small things. And then I'm just going to scrunch this up to give him a little crazy mouth. I don't know what kind of mouth we'll call it, but we'll call it crazy mouth. And we're going to put that right there so he gets a little crazy mouth. And then let's give him some red nostrils because maybe our monster breathes fire. Who knows, right? That could be part of the story that your kids can have with these little puppets once they're done. Then I took some other colors and I'm just flattening out the little balls that I made, and those are going to be my monster spots. Whoops, because monsters have crazy spots. And as you can see, this stuff is pretty durable. I just dropped that guy and he just bounced right back up. So we're going to give him some spots, just like that. And then maybe we want some antennas for him. So you can always roll out some antennas, give him some squiggly antennas. Then you let these guys dry overnight so that they harden, and then they're ready to play with. So check out, I've got 2 of these that we already did. And then I've got some other ones. So I want to show you guys how fun these are. So check out my little bird here. He's got some hair on the top. We've got a lion. We've also got our monster. And then we also have a sheep. So the possibilities are absolutely endless with what you can create. So give your kids some time to get creative. Think about what animals they want to make, and then they can go to town. And you can do a ton of animals off of this same little base that I showed you, or you can get creative with how you mold it. For the sheep, I just did the same thing. I just made my ball a little bit bigger so it fits further down on my finger. I made a little bunch of little balls and smushed them together to get the little pattern on my sheep. So lots of fun and different things that you can do. And if you guys do make these with your family, I definitely want to see them. So make sure you share your photos and use the hashtag Crayola Crafts so I can see what you guys are making. I also highly recommend you check out that hashtag if you want ideas and inspiration. And also make sure you check out Crayola.com/at-home. Tons of blogs, videos, how-tos for kids and adults of all ages. All right, so if you're just tuning in, we just finished up Craft 1. We're going to talk about Craft 2, which is super easy. So for this, you need some rocks. So I'm going to grab some of my rocks here. Now, you can recycle rocks. So I'm actually recycling some of the rocks we used last week when we made our rock cactus, or you can send your kids outside. Tell them to collect some rocks. They need about 9 to 10 rocks to make this tic-tac-toe board. And before we get started, I'm going to give some shout outs. We've got Vicky watching from Colorado. We've got Denise from Utah. We've got Rachel who's watching from Cleveland. We've got Tina from Chicago. We've got Tanya from Missouri. We've got Pamela from Michigan. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. You guys are amazing. And if you've got some friends who are looking for craft activities to do with their kids, make sure you tag them below or share this to your page. We can all use some ideas these days. I know how it is. Brennan, my husband, and I, he's behind the camera. We have a 2.5-year-old, so we understand the struggle of keeping our kid entertained all the time. So, all right. So So I'm using a recycled rock that I used for something else. You can use one that you freshly found. But I'm using my Crayola acrylic paint and pick out 2 colors. And so you're going to paint half your rocks one color and half the other color. So you're playing tic-tac-toe, so you're going to need enough pieces to fill that board, and then you're also going to need them to be each a different color. You've got X's and you've got O's. So paint your rock, let it dry. Depending on if you have something already on there and you're painting over it, you may need to do 1 to 2 coats, but I've got a red and a blue rock here that I painted about 30 minutes before we got started on this live. So it dried pretty quickly, and then I'm going to take my small brush and I'm going to add, you can do X's and O's, or I'm going to do X's and hearts because I think it's just a little bit more fun. So I'm just going to use my brush and I'm just going to draw my X like that. And then on my red one, I'm going to make it hearts instead of O's. And you can paint the front and the back of these, or you can leave it whatever it was beforehand. You can also paint on the inside of here. Okay, so we've got our pieces done. Then for our boards, we're going to set this aside. For our board, just grab some construction paper. So you're going to want to use a square of construction paper. Now keep in mind, everyone's going to find rocks that are all different sizes. So your square should be based on kind of how big the rocks are. So parents take a look at how big the rocks are. Your kids might get giant rocks, they may get small ones. So I did a 12-inch by 12-inch square because I've got some medium-sized rocks. So cut a square out of construction paper, and then you're going to want to cut strips. So my strips are about a 1/4 inch wide, and we're going to go ahead and glue our strips on our board. And then again, guys, this is something that your kids can continue to play with long after they make it. And hey, they could get creative. Maybe it wouldn't be X's and O's. Maybe it's hearts and diamonds, whatever they like these days, or it could be emojis. So they could do emojis on there. So there's tons of different things that they can do. Parents, you may need to help them just kind of map out their board so they've got somewhat even squares on their tic-tac-toe board. And then this is something easy that you can kind of put in a drawer. They can play with a couple times a week. Families, maybe you have a tic-tac-toe tournament. I've seen a lot of families doing game Olympics at home with different crafts, activities, and this could be maybe part of that. And you guys could maybe have a nightly tic-tac-toe tournament with the family or just between the kids. So you can get creative with how you continue to use this. So you make your board just like that. You have a tic-tac-toe board. And then once all of your pieces are dry, check it out. So you can play tic-tac-toe pretty easily with this. So just another fun and easy activity that you can do at home as a family, or put your kids to work and let them create it. But the best part about it is it'll keep them busy long after they're done making it. All right, if you're just tuning in, we are about to start craft 3. And this one is with a shoebox. So grab a shoebox. It can be a kid's shoebox. It can be an adult shoebox. Really, whatever you have will work. So you'll just kind of adjust some of the things based on the size of it. Now, you can use a raw shoebox and just leave it as is, or if you want to kind of cover up the logo of the shoes or whatever it may be, like I did, you can just add some construction paper to it. So I cut some pieces of construction paper to kind of go over the ugly parts of the shoebox. Now, if you have a lid that fits on your shoebox, or you have one like I do here, go ahead and open it, because we want to do something fun on the inside of it. So I talked about my Bright Pop cardstock pad from Crayola. This is like one of my essentials in my craft room now. So if you're going to buy anything, buy this. I use it all the time. It's so fun. The papers are so pretty. But if you don't have this, no worries. You can just use construction paper. So I like to give you options, but open the lid and cut a piece of, whether you're using a patterned paper or you're using just regular paper, cut a piece that's going to fit on the inside of your lid. And you're going to want to pop a little bit of glue. So I'm going to put some of my glue right on the inside here just so this stays in place. If you cut it snug enough, it may fit without the glue, but just to kind of make sure, go ahead and put some glue in there. And I think it's time for some shout outs. We've got Tammy, who says she loves this. We've got Nancy who says hello to everyone. We've got Sandy from California. We've got Louisa from New Jersey. We've got Nicole from Finland. We've got another Nicole from Nashville. We've got Wheeler from New York. We've got Vicki from Colorado. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And if you're loving the crafts that I'm making, please give me a heart or a thumbs up. I love your feedback. Okay, so once this is glued in here, you're going to want to shut your box. Now, so that it stays shut, what I would recommend doing, you can tape it or just add a little bit of glue on the inside so that it stays shut. And we're turning this into a guitar, guys. So, you want to leave that shut. Now, your next steps, I went ahead and did these ahead of time. This is the parent job, okay? So you're going to want to cut a hole in the center of what is going to be the front of your guitar. So this can be the top or the bottom of the box, whatever you choose. And if you notice, you can see through and see the patterned paper. So you see that through there, guys? So that's a fun little backdrop to where the strings of your guitar are going to be. And then you want to cut a hole. So we're using a craft tube. You can use whatever kind of craft tube you have at home, but you may need to cut it down. If you're using a kid's shoebox, you may want to make it a little bit shorter. But you want to cut a hole that's big enough for this to fit inside, okay? Now, our next step is going to be to cover this with construction paper. So we're going to grab, I've got a piece of red right here, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll this around. Now, quick little tip, if you are using a flimsy craft roll, you may have ones that are a little bit thicker, but if you're using a flimsy one and you have a second one, cut that second one open and stick it inside of it. That will kind of give it a little bit more density. It'll be a little bit harder because we're going to put rubber bands around this. So go ahead, glue this guy around. So put some glue right on your craft roll and roll your paper around it just enough to make sure you cover it. If you've got a little more like I do, no big deal. Just glue it on. Now, your kids can also draw on here. So if you want to take that a little step further with the creativity, they can draw some patterns or some fun on here. But once they're done with it, you're going to put 2 rubber bands around it. So you see my rubber bands, okay? So you can do 2 to 3 depending on how many you have. You want to make sure that you've got rubber bands that are about kind of a medium size rubber band that will fit around. If you try to use the small ones, they'll snap. So try and use a medium size one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put our craft roll, and you may have to kind of wiggle it in there. So we're going to put our craft roll into the side hole. You don't want to push it in far enough to where you see it, but just enough that it'll fit in there snugly. And then as you go through, you can kind of move out your rubber bands a little bit, and those are going to be the string on the end of the guitar arm. Okay, so now what do we do on the front? We've got to make guitar strings for the front so we can string along. So I've got 3 rubber bands ready, and then I've got some buttons. So this is going to be another quick parent job, but grab 6 buttons that are all about the same size. You're going to need to use some hot glue for this because you need glue that is going to kind of sit up. So we're going to put our glue on right there. Give that a second. And then you're going to put your buttons and line them up. So I'm going to go ahead and just set them all there so you guys can see. And you want to set them all up, and you can kind of line them up if you want as you see fit, all right? So once that's dry, you're going to put your rubber bands around your buttons. So we're going to let that set for a second. And then now here's the fun part too. While we're waiting on that, we can decorate. So I went in my pad of paper that I showed you guys just a second ago, and I just cut out some pieces of the design. And I'm going to add that to my front of my guitar. So I can really do whatever I want with it. And you know what? You don't have to have this pattern paper. You can just take some markers to it, and you can just decorate right on the front. So I'm going to add maybe another little piece up here in the corner. And then you can draw some decorations on with Crayola markers. Even the metallic markers are really fun. So maybe let's put this guy. We can put him up here. Whoops, grab one of our buttons. So have fun decorating it. Your last step is to let your kids sign it. So before we move on to that, I'm going to give some hellos. So we've got Kendall who says she's watching from Indiana. We've got Shannon from Texas. We've got Alma. We've got Roxanne from Nebraska. We've got Valerie who says awesomeness and creativity. Thanks, Valerie. We've also got Phyllis Hi from William, Henry, and Evelyn in Kentucky. You guys are amazing. All right, so before we move any further, I want to show you guys what it looks like in a big one. So check this out. This is a big adult shoebox, and so we had some fun with it. I signed my daughter's name because she's a little too small to write yet, but you can sign your kid's name when they get done. They can, you know, act like they're a rock star, right? Who knows? Maybe they will be, and this will be worth something crazy. So then they can have some fun. You hear it? Stringing it. They can do a whole rock band. Maybe you make some tambourines out of paper plates. You make some shakers with some old Easter eggs, and they can have a whole rock band together. So lots of fun. You can do different size, whatever you've got at home. If you don't have a shoebox, you can also do this with a tissue box. Or any kind of small packing box that you may have left over. You can also do it with that as well. So I don't know about you, but I want to do this as an adult. I think it's a lot of fun. All right, so a couple reminders and a recap before we sign out. So today we shared 3 crafts that were all about things you could make and continue to play with. So our first one was Model Magic Finger Puppets. So check out these cute little guys here. I love these. So you can make them and then have some fun little puppet shows afterwards. And our second was a rock tic-tac-toe game. So go out in the yard and collect some rocks and create a game. And we said maybe the family could have a tic-tac-toe tournament every night. And then last but not least, we took a shoebox and we made it into a guitar. So lots of fun things. If you guys love them, please make sure you tell me in the comments. I love your feedback. I will be back on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and I'm going to be sharing some spring crafts to kind of wrap up April. So it'll be lots of fun. Trust me, you're going to like these 3 crafts that we have for you. So that's Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And please make sure if you've got friends that are looking for some fun activities, share this live broadcast or tell them to check out Crayola.com/at-home for more great ideas for the whole family. And before we sign out, I'm going to give some quick shout outs. Let's see. We've got Nancy who says, lovely. Shannon says she loves the tic-tac-toe. Rochelle says, so cool. Thanks for doing this. So she appreciated it. Thank you, Rochelle. Well, I appreciate you. We've got Aditi from North Carolina. We've got Susan from Boston. We've got my mom, Donna, who's watching from upstairs while she's watching our daughter. And we've got Alma, who's tagged a friend. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are amazing. Don't forget to share your projects using the hashtag Crayola Crafts. We want to see what you guys are making, and check that out if you need some inspiration. All right, that's all I've got for you guys today. Be kind, inspire someone, and I will see you right here Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Bye, guys.